There was one of these development institutions like the World Bank. It had a different name. And they had a variety of bonds outstanding, and each of those bonds had what's called covenants, which are really restrictions in them, and the bank wanted to do something, but wasn't able to because some of these issues forbid them. And they still wanted to do something, but they couldn't get those bonds in. They couldn't call them. They were stuck with it, and it was an important initiative, and everybody was real concerned. They didn't know what to do, and so nobody could solve the problem. And I was one of the people working on this, and I remember going home at night, and I often think of things when I'm sleeping. I don't sleep real deep REM stuff, and I woke up and I said, you know what? What's the problem here? The problem is that these bondholders, want to be protected for something. And what's the worst that can happen to them? The worst that can happen is if you did the bad thing and it didn't work out, they'd lose their money, right? So I said, why don't we just take a bunch of money, because banks always have money, and just dedicate that money behind those bonds and go ahead and do whatever we want to do. Because the worst that can happen is that they'd lose their money. And if we assure them that they could never lose their money, then they don't have to worry. Right. And if they don't have to worry, they have no cause for damages against the institution for going ahead and doing something. Mm-hmm. So I came in with some elaborate, proposal to do that for, large amounts of money. At that point, large amounts were hundreds of millions. Now it would be tens of billions. And everybody just sort of sat there and went, geez, no one's ever done this. And I said, well, so what? Aren't we addressing the problem?